Welcome, Betty.
Thank you, Dave. So good morning, everyone. Wow, I love looking out here and seeing a full house. So nice. So how about this weather, guys?
Like it.
It's nice, huh, for a change? Well, yeah, it's hard. So in Phoenix, it went from, I don't know what it was here, but it was like 20 degrees less. I mean, from one day to the next. That's even if it's not really cold, it feels cold when it drops that fast. So, where's my little clicker? Let me get all ready here. So, we've been talking about the 12 powers all for a whole year. This is the last month, the last focus on the 12 powers. For now, we never leave them behind. Merriam-Webster dictionary defines power as possession of control, authority, or influence over others. And unity defines power, spiritual power, as the ability to master, dominate, and control. Spiritual power is about the creation story, when God gave dominion over everything to human beings. Genesis 1:6, in fact, says, "Let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the wild animals of the earth, and over every creeping," cockroaches and all, "every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth." From a higher consciousness or metaphysical perspective, power is what gives us the ability to master thoughts and feelings. And metaphysically, all kinds of animals and creatures and flocks of things always means your thoughts and ideas. So power over, dominion over your thoughts and, I meant to say feelings, your thoughts, ideas, and feelings. Dominion over all of that, control over that. You have the power, even though it seems sometimes we don't, over our thoughts and feelings. Spiritual power is key in the process to co-creating our lives and the very best version of ourselves. Pretty early on, when I first came to Unity, I was introduced to the idea that we often give up our power to others, to other people, other things, other ideas. It was something I hadn't really thought about until then. I did have some sense that I was a pretty powerful person. I knew that I was an influencer, as they say, that I had the ability to sway people to my way of thinking. And I had a sense that my moods were sometimes contagious. And so it called upon me to take responsibility for that and to show up the best possible way I could, as often as I could. But I hadn't really thought about what it meant to give over my personal power. So just in case you haven't thought about this lately, or you need a little reminder, that's what I want to look at today. It's really a big deal to give up your power. Considering that in your role as a human being, made in the image and likeness of God, you have dominion over absolutely everything. You're in charge. You're the master, if you choose to accept that role. And that's big. And if you just give that away, what a shame that would be. So what are some of the ways we do give away our power, and how can we keep from doing it? First of all, don't waste energy complaining. Have any of you ever taken that no complaint challenge where you agree not to complain for a week or 2 weeks or however long it is, and it's just practically impossible, isn't it? I mean, it's hard. It's hard to do. Like and supposedly you have to start over once you complain. So some of us, I'm not naming any names, but some of us never finished. Because it's just really hard to do. We are really good at it. And the difference between complaining and problem solving is big. Venting to your friends and family and coworkers keeps you stuck in the problem. And it keeps you from creating a solution. Grumbling, in fact, implies that you have no power over whatever it is you're complaining about. And it shows that you have no power over your attitude. Instead, in Unity, we learn that through the process of denials and affirmation, we can accept whatever this is. We don't pretend it's not happening, but we can at the same time declare that it has no power over us. Next, how to keep from giving away your power. Accept responsibility for how you feel. Don't let other people's behavior dictate your emotions. Saying your friend or acquaintance makes you feel bad about yourself, or claiming that someone made you mad, suggests that they have the power over how you feel. Instead, accept that it's up to you to manage your emotions, regardless of how everyone else is behaving. This is what it means to have dominion over your thoughts and feelings. It's not what happens to you that makes your life. It's what you think about it and how you deal with it. Next, establish healthy boundaries. Giving in to guilt trips or refusing to speak up for yourself gives power to other people. Rather than blame them for wasting your time or forcing you to do something, recognize that you're in charge of you. Establish healthy physical and emotional boundaries and give you control over how you spend your time and with whom you spend it. Again, it's always your choice. Next, practice forgiveness. Holding a grudge against someone who has hurt you doesn't punish that person. Most of the time, they don't even know. They've gone on. It only punishes you. When you waste valuable time thinking about a person you think has wronged you, it takes away your ability to live in the moment. Forgiving someone is the best way to take back your power. But to be clear, forgiveness doesn't mean that you are saying that what the person did was okay. It's just about choosing to let go of all the hurt and anger that interferes with your ability to enjoy life. Next, know your values. When you're not clear about what your core values are, you're at the risk of becoming a helpless passenger rather than a confident driver of your own life. In other words, you set yourself up to be a victim. You blindly led through life. And you'll be at risk of jumping on board with other people's ideas that may lead you astray from your own core values. So take back your power by acknowledging your values and living true to what's important to you. Next, don't waste time on unproductive thoughts. Have you ever, so I have to look at myself for this one. Have you ever dreaded something you have to do and then spent hours upon hours thinking about it and dreading it before it happens? Take control over those thoughts. Take dominion over those thoughts that occupy your mind so you don't give more brain power than you need to something you don't even want to do. You're literally living it all the time. You're worrying about it. Avoid language that implies you're a victim. Saying things like, I have to work 60 hours a week, or I had no choice but to say yes. It implies that you're an unfortunate victim of circumstances. While there are circumstances or consequences to all the things that we decide to do, you need to acknowledge that you always have a choice. I have a really good example of this. When I left, and this was a really good lesson for me to realize this. When I left my position at Unity of Phoenix a few years back, it really wasn't my preference to leave at the time. I loved most of, as things go, sometimes the reason we call it work is we don't love every little piece of what we're doing, but I really loved my job there. But as happens these days, look, the baby just jumping from one person to another. So anyway, as happens in a lot of organizations these days, they were downsizing. And I had already been downsized once and had combined 2 jobs, hence the reason I wasn't as thrilled about part of the job. And I was informed that they were going to add yet another job, a 3rd job, into the mix. And I knew to do all of that, as well as I would want to do it, was going to mean that I would have a 60 or 70 hour week, or 6 or 7 days a week. And could I do it? Yeah, I could have done it. But in a few months, I would have been burnt out. And folks, I don't want to work that hard anymore. I've done that. And I just don't want to be working 60 and 70 hour a week jobs anymore. So I finally prayed about it. It was hard. And I said, if this is the way you want to do it, which implied in there was I didn't think it was a very good decision, but not mine to make, then it can't be me. I'm not the one who can do this. So I left there feeling put upon, like I was forced to leave a job I loved. But it didn't take me very long to realize, no, I could have stayed there. I made a choice that I didn't want to work that hard. And I was willing to give up all the wonderfulness of that job. And there was a lot of wonderfulness to not do the thing I really didn't want to do. And that was my choice. So I really couldn't be mad at someone else for making some decision, because I could have stayed. So my point is, we have to take control of our thoughts and feelings. I mean, I could have gone on for literally a few years being angry and mad and upset. But luckily, I caught on to myself pretty quickly and moved along and realized there's something wonderful out there that's waiting for me to do. So the next thing is you make your self-worth independent of other people's opinions. If your self-worth depends on others holding you in high esteem, you'll likely become a people pleaser and an unhappy person at that. Not everyone needs to like you, and I've got news. If you don't know this, everyone is not going to like you. And everyone is not going to agree with you and your lifestyle. It's just the facts. So, evaluate the merit of anyone's feedback. Sometimes they have a good point, but never allow any one person's opinion of you determine your own self-worth. And finally, be willing to stand out from the crowd. Self-doubt and fear can lead you to want to blend in and be like everyone else. But trying to fit in with the crowd will cause you to disguise who you really are. And you just need to trust that you're strong enough to dare to be different and unique. So let's say that we're practicing all of these 9 things and we start to get our power back. We're really accepting it and living it. What will our lives look like while we're actually claiming our power? Yeah, freedom, absolutely. To be spiritually powerful is to know you are safe and loved no matter what is going on outside of you or around you or even to you. It means to find the joy and sometimes the humor in any situation. It means not to be defeated by defeat. It means to know, trust, and align to your spiritual truth. It means you have given up the need to be right and to make others wrong. It means you know yourself and focus on your greatness. It means you commit to your gifts and you never argue for your limitations. Accept those compliments, people. Somebody reminded me of that the last time I was here. Follow your intuition. It means you will follow your intuition, and it means that you're not taking things personally. And it means that you believe and trust in the bigger picture, the divine plan. Seeing that all of this is who you really are, with the power you've inherited directly from God, why would you ever want to give it up to anyone else or anything else? So we've talked a lot about the powers at our core this year. And I just want to recap a little bit so you'll remember all of the power that you have within you. First, love, the ability to harmonize, unify, and attract. Imagination, the ability to image, conceptualize, and envision. Life, the ability to energize, vitalize, and enliven. Understanding, the ability to know and perceive. Strength, the ability to endure, stay the course, persevere. Will, the ability to choose and decide. Judgment, the ability to evaluate, discern, and be wise. Zeal, the ability to motivate, be passionate, be enthusiastic. Renunciation, the ability to release, remove, and denounce. Order, the ability to organize, sequence, balance, and adjust. Faith, where's my faith? Come on. There it is. I had faith that it was going to come up. Okay. Faith, the ability to believe and intuit. And wow, I wonder if I'm losing my batteries. Power, the ability to master, dominate, and control. All of these spiritual powers are you at your core. A free gift to you, given in grace as your birthright, as a beloved and blessed child of God. The power within us, of course, is that spark of divinity that we talk about in our second unity principle. Human beings have a spark of divinity within. Their very essence is of God. Just as Jesus was, we are the divine expressing in human form. How powerful is that? Though most of us, short of Mother Teresa and Gandhi, strive greatly to live up to the potential. This is what being made in the image and likeness of God is all about. We can deny it all we want, but it is no less the truth. We're made of God substance, just as every other part of creation. And our true power and source of eternal joy is to express in our most enlightened form. Go on. The more we take on this identity with God and remember who we truly are, the more powerful we are. The more we accept these 12 powers, along with many others, such as compassion, empathy, peace, and gratitude, the more powerful we are. So as Butterworth said, discover the power within you. Use your powers well, and always remember how truly powerful you are. Thank you. Let's prepare for meditation now. Get comfortable where you are. Nice breath. Breathe in and release any concerns or cares you brought in with you this morning. We're so grateful to be here today in this wonderful, loving group of people. We're so grateful for this spiritual community and all it means to everyone here. All it means to the greater community of Yuma. The visions that everyone here holds in their hearts. The visions of love and peace and joy and communion. We're grateful for it all. So we come here today to open up as far as we can, as wide as we can, to the love of God. To share that love. To open our hearts wide enough to fill this room, to fill this town, to fill this state, to take in all of our leaders of our country, all of the leaders of the world, to open our hearts to peace, to humanity, God's calling. And we're here to answer. So we say, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.